So here's a guy able to come out here. I don't know whether he's trying to sell these paintings or whatnot, but he's running for president, and apparently you can take up the street. There he is. All right, let's go get this guy. Okay. Yeah. So aside from your paintings and whatnot, what would be your #1 campaign slogan?
In God we trust.
In God we
it's
trust.
Right on my card.
Ah, are you a religious man?
I'm a Christian.
I see.
That's my
you another guy
motto, in God we trust.
Do you think all Jews are going to hell?
No, I'm going to convert them to Christians.
Right, that's the Christian answer.
Exactly.
But what if we don't want to be converted? What if we believe that we're the chosen people, and because we're Jews, we don't want to instill our beliefs upon everybody, but isn't it true that we are the chosen people, the Jews?
Your God's chosen people are the Jews, but let me say this. The Bible says that Jesus, some of his last words were, go and teach all nations about him. Okay, that's the Great Commission of Jesus Christ. Some of his last words was to go and teach all nations about Jesus, about himself.
Aren't you afraid that, considering, when I was having a nervous breakdown,
Can we switch?
Yeah, sure. Where do you want to sit? All right, there. When I was having a nervous breakdown, out of college, and I would go to parties and start talking about the Lord and how I was hearing voices, everybody would shun me. And the separation of church and God and, church and state. Do you want to stress the Lord as far as your #1 campaign slogan? Aren't you afraid that you might, isolate some people that don't want to hear that?
In God we trust is the motto of our country. It was
true.
established back in the 1950s.
I understand. I understand.
When the motto came about of In God we trust, and it's on our currency, and I don't see anything wrong with it. That's the motto of our country, and I have adopted that as the motto of my campaign. And in God I do trust.
Okay, safe to assume you're anti-abortion.
I'm really glad that your mother didn't kill you.
I'm glad too. Yeah.
Aren't you glad?
I'm glad she didn't name me Howard also, because he was either Jefferson or Howard, and I'm glad she went with Jefferson. But yeah, so give me some more. Give me some more reasons that we could vote for you. The people out there are watching you.
Okay, well, it's right on my card.
Oh, more cards.
If you look at my card, I've selected the major issues of importance to Americans.
All right.
#1 is Iraq. Now, I'm former administrator at Texas Military Institute, where General Douglas MacArthur was a graduate of the class of 1896. He then went on to become valedictorian at West Point, and then went back and ran West Point for a few years as superintendent. My son, Aaron Robert Haines, named after the brother of Moses.
So you're carrying a gun there for a second.
Okay. 24 years ago, my son, Aaron Robert Haines, used to line up with the troops with his Boy Scout uniform on. He's a pilot in the United States Marine Corps, and he's in Iraq for the 3rd time, and he should be home in a week or a week and a half.
God bless him.
So we're looking forward to him coming home. But let me say, the Texas Military Institute has a great tradition. You are all invited to Texas Military Institute, and we have trained strong leaders from around the world. The young men that I helped train are now colonels and 1, 2, 3, or 4 stars around the world. We're talking Colombia, Panama, Saudi Arabia, even Libya, South Korea, Norway, and other NATO countries, and Central American countries. A lot from Mexico, about 18 to 20 young men from Mexico. So we train strong leaders for America's future at Texas Military Institute, and strong leaders for the world's future. You're all invited to go to Texas Military Institute.
All right, we're going to have to wrap it up now. What do you think the Fed's going to? What do you think the Fed's going to do today? The Fed. What's he going to do?
I didn't get into the issue.
No, but that's the most important thing right now, is because this is my show, and this is Suck My Nasdaq. What is the Fed going to do today, and how's the market going to react?
You have to ask Ben Bernanke.
You have to bark when you say Bernanke's name.
Okay, well, let me say this.
Will you bark for me once?
I can bark with the best of them!
There he goes.
Now, I walked around the Federal Reserve building last night, 2 blocks away.
Right.
I walked around it, and I talked to the security guards, and I showed them who I was. By the way, I am the man who tackled the terrorist who tried to assassinate President Clinton in front of the White House in 1994, when I was personally running for the office of President of the United States at that moment in time.
Well, now I'm afraid
and I have
of you.
the official documents, letter from the Secret Service, and the official newspaper articles from October 29, 1994, the date that the information came out regarding the assassination attempt on President Clinton. So I walked around the Federal Reserve last night, and I campaigned with the guards. This morning I walked around the building also, and 3 guards came over to my car. and they were high-ranking guards from the Federal Reserve, which is a private corporation.
All right.
They ID'd me. ID'd me, wanted to know what I was doing there, and I showed them the documents that I had in my briefcase.
We'll just flip a coin then.
Regarding the assassination attempt, they shook my hand, and I tried to get their vote.
All right. How much are we cutting? 25 basis points or 50 basis points?
That's up to Ben Bernanke.
What do you think? This is important. This is for your presidential campaign. What are we cutting? No cut, 25 basis points or 50 basis points, and how the market going to react? Robert.
There are cuts. It's common to have ups and downs in the rates.
All right, Robert, that's it. We just needed an answer for you.
Very common.
Good luck to you, sir.